Pop quiz. Complete the Kiss lyric from Tears Are Falling. You come to me with blank tears. There's two ways I've seen this written down when it comes to lyrics, and I'm trying to figure out which one is the actual one. Is it you come to me with your eyes in tears, or you come to me with your acid tears?
Acid!
I've always heard acid tears, but I've also seen other lyric websites and all that say eyes in tears. And today, I kind of want to take a look and see which lyric it actually is or could be, because I feel like this is probably the most misheard Kiss lyric, at least for me. It's not one to talk about a lot, but I've always wondered, like, what is the actual lyric? Because every time I look it up, it's on my YouTube Music, when it gives you the lyrics, it says acid tears, but when I look at the lyrics in some other places, it says eyes and tears. So I want to kind of see which lyric is heard the most from some of these websites. So let's start it out by taking a look at the lyrics over here on Google.
Acid!
Okay, so now we're in a bit of a predicament here, because when I typed Tears Are Falling lyrics into Google, we now have another lyric that Google thinks this is saying, which is, you turn to me with your icy tears. That, I mean, I guess you can hear it, but in the end, I don't know, I feel like it's one of the first two that we said. Icy, that's the first time I've seen icy, but what does genius say? And now we're here on Genius, and what you know, it says, you look at me with your eyes and tears. So kind of said a little bit differently from what, you know, I've heard, but it says your eyes in tears. I don't know what's going on. We've had so many renditions already that I'm starting to question.
Acid!
Alright, let's go to lyrics.com, see what we get, because so far we haven't gotten anything cohesive or anything the same. It's been different every time. It says, you talk to me with your eyes in tears.
No, the fuck it's not.
I didn't realize that this lyric was like so hard to figure out. It's actually kind of, you know, interesting that I even attempted this, because I thought we were only going to look at like, oh, which one of these two choices, but now we're up to like 5 different iterations and we haven't seen the same one back to back yet.
Acid!
What about songlyrics.com? Okay, we have our first one. This says, you look at me with your eyes in tears. So we're starting to get the eyes in tears line here. It's funny that I haven't seen acid tears, because again, that's always what I've heard. I could be wrong, but that's just what happens when you have a misheard lyric.
Acid!
Okay, so far the iterations we have had are icy tears, you look at me with your eyes in tears, you come to me with your eyes in tears. This one is interesting, but I want to go to the song itself. I want to hear it out with you guys just to see what it can sound like that Paul Stanley is actually saying.
Acid!
Okay, here it comes.
What the fuck is this?
I don't know. There's no lyrics in the description on the official Kiss channel, so again, we're kind of stuck in a predicament, because again, I heard acid tears, but we've also heard so many different iterations that could it be up for interpretation? Also, after listening to it again, it kind of sounds like he's saying assy tears, but we all know that's not correct.
Acid!
However, the answer is actually right in front of us, because when you look at the lyric booklet that comes with the album, the answer, well, will be debunked.
Bogus!
If you guessed, you look at me with your eyes in tears, then you know the lyrics to Kiss's Tears Are Falling.
Acid!
I just made this video because I found it interesting that when I looked it up on certain sites lyric-wise, there was either a different interpretation of the you look at me with your eyes in tears, or there was other words that were put into it like icy and all this kind of stuff, or like me thinking it was acid tears.
You stupid.
I think it's more just kind of hard to tell if you know, never heard the song before because of the way Paul Stanley sings it. But in the end, if it's in the booklet to the album, then that means that this is the lyric that the band put out there, and some of you might have been singing it wrong for years now if you didn't actually know the lyrics. And I'm a hardcore Kiss fan myself, myself, so this kind of threw me off when I did see it at first, because I was like, we sure it's not acid tears? One, that sounds a lot more cooler, and two, sort of seems like he's saying that. Also, one other thing, because I just thought about it with the demo to Crazy Nights. In the beginning of the song, when Paul Stanley says, "But I don't hear the rap that they all say," in the demo, he says the crap that they all say. But I don't hear the crap that they all say. So I guess when you say it either way, you're not wrong, and maybe for Tears Are Falling, maybe in a demo, Paul Stanley may have said icy or acid, but in the final studio version, it's "you look at me with your eyes in tears." That was just another thought that could have popped up. I don't know, I've never heard the Tears Are Falling demo, but that could also be the case here as well. Acid! But hey, sometimes we just hear what we want to hear, and it kind of just goes into our heads that, oh, that's what they're saying, and those are the lyrics, and you won't accept anything else. So that's basically it for me. I'd like to hear in the comments below, did you ever hear the correct lyrics in this song? Or were you one of those ones that kind of heard something different and you thought that's what it was, you were for sure, but then when you looked up the actual lyrics, you were like, whoa, okay, wait, it actually is this? Like, sometimes that just happens, and if you want to, you can name other songs, doesn't necessarily have to be Kiss, but other songs from, your favorite artist that you like, that maybe you misheard a lyric multiple times, and you see it said multiple times throughout other websites, but you never truly knew the real lyric until later down the line. But until then, that's it for me. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one. Okay. So I know it's a small detail, but I heard Paul Stanley sing this song live. He says this. You turn to me with your eyes in tears. Now it's "you turn to me with your eyes in tears," like... What the fuck? I'm just kidding. This was in 2004. The song was 19 years old at this point, so maybe he just, thought that the lyrics were this, or it could be interpreted either way. I guess we'll never truly know. Acid!